Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I take photos of my haircuts in the barbershop. I'm going to be breaking down all the lighting, all the different things that I do. I'm going to talk about a little bit of my camera settings, just giving you guys a little bit of insight of what it is that I teach when I do my content creating course for barbers. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing you guys and revealing who it is that I'm bringing to Jacksonville December 11th. This guy's a monster with the color, creative specialist. So we're going to go hand in hand when it comes to content creating, but then he's going to throw his techniques of how he does his color. One of the biggest in the game when it comes to hair color. So make sure you guys tune in to the end of this video so you can see who it is that's coming to Jacksonville, Florida, December 11th. Also, man, all I ask for this video is free game for you guys, but just like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And again, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, but let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so first thing I want to talk about is the camera that I'm using. I'm using an A7 with an 85mm Sony lens. This is going to be my go-to lens when it comes to my portrait shots. If I don't want to be in the shot, I like to use this lens because it gives me a nice blurred out background. It's a 1.8, so it's really gonna give you that nice blur. If you guys need to know more about settings, here's a link to a video about settings. Go ahead and click that. Learn your settings, because that's gonna be one of the first things you're gonna wanna do when you pick up one of these DSLR cameras, especially as a barber. Just starting out, you wanna make sure that you learn your camera settings, your ISO, all that good stuff. So yeah, so Sony A7 85mm lens, and this is what we're gonna be using today to take this photo. All right, so the next thing I'm using is gonna be my newer light. This is a CB60. This is with a softbox on the front of it. This is gonna make that skin look super soft, super nice. It's not gonna give me that hard lighting like a ring light would. I know a lot of barbers like to use ring lights, but I suggest trying to stay away from the ring lights when it comes to direct lighting, because it puts off a really harsh lighting, and sometimes it'll leave a little bit of a glare on the skin. So try to get something more of a softbox, something with a little bit of a diffuser in the front, and it's gonna give you that nice soft tone when it comes to the skin complexion. All right, so the next thing, like I said, a lot of barbers like to use ring lights. I love using ring lights, but I like to use them in the right way. I use my ring light as a backlight. It's gonna separate my subject from the background, and it's gonna create a little bit of a glare around the silhouette of my client, and it's gonna make them pop out from that background on top of my lens, creating that nice blur. We're gonna use this ring light as a backlight, again, to bring that subject away from the background. So make sure you set up a backlight. It doesn't have to be a ring light. This is just what I prefer. And again, this is a newer ring light. Set it up in the background, use it as your backlighting. All right, so my third tool that I'm gonna be using is gonna be a color light down here on the floor. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what this looks like. It might be a little bright on camera, but that's gonna be my color light. I can switch this from red, green, blue, yellow. It just allows me to add a little bit of color and flair to my photos. So I like to put that somewhere in the background just to bounce it off the wall, maybe add a little blue tones to my photos, give it just something different, something creative, and you can use any color with this light. So that's just another third light that I like to use. It's not necessary, but it can give you and allow you to create more creative content when it comes to adding lighting, adding tones, adding different colors to your photos. I really recommend getting a color light that you can switch. Usually they come with a remote, so you can use different colors like red and green and yellow, like I said. So make sure you grab you a color light, set it up in the background somewhere, bounce it off a wall, and just get creative. All right, so now I set up my ring light. I brought it down a little bit just so it sits directly behind him. Gives me that nice background light. And then I set up my other newer softbox light. I set it up really close to his fade. That's gonna give me a nice brightness on the fade. It's gonna really make that skin fade pop out. So I like to scoot that up pretty close. And that works really well when you're in tight spaces. I know that most barbers have other barbers next to them, have clients that are waiting, or whatever it is that's in your way. You wanna make sure that you get something that you can scoot up pretty close. Some of these lights have settings where you can turn them down to like a 50%, 60%. Right now I got mine at about 75%. So it's not as bright as it could be, but it's just bright enough to brighten up my fade. And then along with my camera settings, I'm gonna tweak those to make it so that the photo is not super bright, but it gives me a nice bright tone on that fade. So again, make sure you put that softbox really close to the skin, brighten up the fade, help that fade pop, and leverage your space. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start taking some photos. I'm gonna shoot around figure out where I like my angle, where I want my actual shot to be. And then from there, we'll go onto the computer, we'll edit, and then I'll show you guys the results. So that's one of my pictures in camera. Turned out really good. Once I put it on the computer, I'll be able to see where my focus is, see what my skin looks like. And that's why you want to take a lot of pictures. You want to make sure you take a bunch of pictures just in case anything's off on one. You'll have multiple to play with. So make sure you take a lot of pictures. All right, so now the next thing I want to do, I want to get in the picture. Sometimes I like to get behind the photo just to give it a different look. It's one of my more signature styles that I like to do when I'm taking my pictures. And what I do when I'm shooting that is I got my Sony A7 set up on an L bracket so I can shoot it sideways for reels and longer portrait photos for Instagram. I really recommend doing that because portrait and Instagram reels take up a lot more space on the screen. So when people are scrolling through, it almost takes 2 swipes to get out of that photo. So a lot of times you get a lot more likes when your pictures are a lot longer, and especially shooting reels right now because Instagram is really pushing Instagram reels. So make sure that you're shooting sideways, posting more reels and posting more portrait size photos. So what I do is I turn my camera sideways. I got it set up on a monopod. I'm gonna set it up on a timer, 10-second timer, 5 photos. Find my angle of my client, where I want that photo to be taken. I'm gonna figure out where in the background I wanna be. I'm gonna focus it on my client. And then you can hear that timer go off, and I'm just gonna stand behind my client. And just get behind the photo like that. Blow a little bit of smoke to give it a smoky effect. And boom, we got a nice photo with me in the background. I remember when you're shooting photos and you're putting products in the photo, remember that your depth of field, whenever you're shooting at your f-stop, if it's a 1.8, it's gonna really blur out that background. So you wanna place your object, whatever it is that you're showing off in that photo, parallel to where your focus is. That way your tool is in focus. So make sure that you're putting that tool parallel to wherever it is that your focus is, so that way that is in focus as well. And that's how you get photos of you in the background. Blow a little bit of smoke, use a blue light, get creative with it. You don't have to do exactly what I do, but just go ahead and take these tools and take this knowledge and just create your way. So there it is, guys. Those are my tricks, a couple pointers on how it is that I take my photos using my lighting, using the correct settings. Again, I got a video on my page that'll show you how to tweak those settings. It's called Camera Basics. So make sure you scroll on my channel. I'll also link it, and make sure that you check out that video. That way you can get a little insight on how it is that you're gonna tweak those settings to get the right settings in the right lighting. Also, man, here it is, guys. December 11th, we got Poppy Blends coming to Jacksonville, Florida. We're gonna be doing creative color class, and we're gonna be doing content creating. Make sure you get your tickets at thesmpfactory.co. That's again, December 11th here in Jacksonville, Florida, at my office here at the SMP Factory. You're not gonna wanna miss out on this class, man. We're gonna be giving out a lot of gems. And this is just a taste of a quick tutorial, but we're gonna be getting really in depth when it comes to content creating and how we do our content on Instagram, social media, and things of that nature. So make sure you guys go to thesmpfactory.co and get your tickets, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys share this video with a friend. Again, this is free game. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys again soon.